As we neared the end of the calendar year, it looked like the Big House 9 was going to be the finale of one of the wildest and weirdest seasons of Melee we've had in quite a long time. And then EGLX came out of nowhere at the last minute and provided us with an extra little treat, getting to see Mutaking and Wizrobe add another event to their gaunt resumes for the year. And then we thought that was it, but as a wise man once said, there's still so much Melee to be played, which brings us to Mango's Birthday Bash. And this video is brought to you by the Book of Melee, written by my good pal Edwin Budding. The Book of Melee is a deep dive into the universe of competitive Melee, gaming's greatest and most likely underdog story. Simultaneously absurd, heartwarming, and tear-jerking, the Book of Melee tackles the evolution of the most passionate cult following of the 21st century, from crowded basements to packed arenas. If you're interested in reading, click the Amazon link down in the description to purchase either a paperback copy of the book or the Kindle e-reader edition. Mango's Birthday Bash is a 2-day tournament taking place in Canada that is looking to come out of nowhere to become one of the year's biggest events. Unfortunately, as of the creation of this video, we don't have a complete attendee list as it hasn't gone live on Smash GG yet. However, we've still got a ton of top talent already confirmed, like Zane, S2J, HBox, Nun, IBDW, and Duck. We're going to switch it up a little bit for this video and talk about the stories of confirmed players for this event instead of projected matchups because we don't have the bracket just yet. But if you're still craving it, I'll be streaming a discussion on that when the bracket comes out on Thursday. That'll be just one part of my full coverage of Mango's Birthday Bash this weekend. We'll be doing a pre-game show up until the stream starts on Saturday to prep you for the day of Melee, and finishing it up with a post-game show to wrap up all of the action. Then on Sunday morning, before we jump into the final day of the Mango, we'll talk about what's to come and make our predictions on who's going to take home first place. I'll also potentially do another stream on Sunday before top 8 if that's something you guys would be interested in. The content schedule for this weekend is on the screen right now, but if you want to make sure you don't miss any of it, click the links in the description to follow me on Twitch and Twitter to know when I go live. But with that out of the way, let's start talking about some players. Hungrybox has had the #1 spot in the world locked up since about September, so we're not going to spend too much time talking about the Puff. With his biggest roadblocks this year, Wizrobe, Leffen, and Amsa all not being in attendance, the path to having him build another trophy shelf looks pretty great even without seeing the bracket. Love him or hate him, having Hungrybox the Mango elevates this event to another level as we all anxiously wait to see if someone can slay the giant this weekend. One of the other major contenders that we could see taking home first place at Bash is the birthday boy himself. Although Mango has generally not competed seriously at events based around him, I've heard from multiple sources that it isn't the case for this event. And with how surprisingly messy ranking the top 6 is this year, a win or even just a good showing from Mango this weekend could earn him an extra spot or two on the end of year rankings. And from the list of players we know in attendance, he's got a lot of chances to fix some of his less than desirable head-to-head records before they're set in stone for the year. 2-4 in HBox, 3-3 with Zane, 1-1 with IBDW, and 0-1 on Lucky and Nun make up the players that would be most beneficial for Mango in the medium bracket. So we may just get to see Mango go from winning 0 events in 2018 to having 3 major wins under his belt if he can take home the gold at Birthday Bash. The story of Zane in 2019 has been one of consistency. In a year of Magi's, Alberts, and Sparks, Zane has dropped next to none sets to players outside the top level of the game. Where he has fallen a bit short this year is at the very highest level, where he currently doesn't hold a winning record against any of the top 6. There is one he could potentially turn around though, Mango. His Mango head-to-head was his singular shining gem at the top before the Big House, where Mango pulled out 2 incredible Game 5 clutches to win the event from loser's side. Zane has been doing a ton of grinding with Bobby Big Balls in the matchup as of late, so he'll for sure have some new tricks for Mango, so hopefully we get to see them meet this weekend. 2019 has been a weird year for Samus, to say the least. Hugs moved to the East Coast and lost a lot of his steam, while players like Morse Code, Webbins, and the Swooper climbed their way into the spotlight. But the biggest surprise in what some have been calling the year of the Samus was Duck's absence, which was followed by whispers that he was switching over to Sheik. So the biggest story for Duck at Birthday Bash is who will we see him playing. This event will not only have huge implications for the future success of Samus in Melee, but for Duck's placement on the end of year ranking. He's got a 9th at Genesis, a 5th at Full Bloom, and a 2nd at Hold That L with Samus, and a 33rd at Smash Camp with Sheik. And that's pretty much it for his year. So Duck is an unknown entity in so many ways this weekend at Birthday Bash, so be sure to keep your eyes on what he does. We jump from a tale of uncertainty to one of the most linear paths of 2019, nuns. The Falcon main attended his first event of 2019 in May, and to no one's surprise, he was quite rusty, which led him to drop 13 places to 29th on the summer ranking. But as he attended more and more, he very quickly returned to his old self, even breaking Mango's lengthy streak of not dropping a set to Falcon at EGLX. Potential matchups I'd like to see with him this weekend is the run back against Mango, a rematch against IBDW, who's been grinding the matchup since his absolute destruction at SmashCon, and or a 5th Falcon Ditto for the year between him and S2J, which 3 out of 4 have gone to Game 5 this year. Speaking of Johnny, he's been one of the most active players in this last stretch of the year. He copped first place finishes at both Canada Cup and Genesis Black, but controller issues led to a 4th at DreamHack Rotterdam, losing to Over Triforce and Professor Pro, and he finished 5th at DreamHack Atlanta, losing the Ditto to None and being eliminated by Sparks Sheik. The last couple of months have been a mixed bag for the new free agent, so I'll be looking to end this last weekend of the season on a positive note. La Luna is looking like he'll have the unfortunate distinction of the player who drops the most spots on this year's top 100 ranking with how his year has gone so far. The event that really looks to bring him down from his 37th spot in the summer is his 65th place finish at main stage, losing to Wranglers, DK, and Umarth. But La Luna's got his last chance at Birthday Bash to set the record straight. Will he cap his 2019 by meticulously slicing Spaceys out of bracket, or by losing to a pair of lesser known Canadian regional threats? Only time will tell. DreamHack champion Hugs is in a similar boat as La Luna, but not nearly in extreme of a case. He may be having a rough year in comparison to the top 20 Hugs of recent memory by losing to Francis Doc and Ty's Marth, but he's still got quality wins over players like IPDW, Ryan Ford, Mike Hayes, Jake and Shaken, and Magi. I think the question for Hugs isn't if he'll return to his former glory, but instead when he'll make that comeback. So hopefully we'll see a Hugs newly emboldened by the recent successes of his fellow Samus mains this weekend in the Mango, but there's a strong possibility that we're going to have to wait a little bit longer for that. I want to briefly mention that Plup will be in attendance at Mango's Birthday Bash, but where his focus will be across Melee singles and doubles and or Ultimate singles and doubles is uncertain at the time. If he does end up making a run, we'll for sure be highlighting him during the pre and post game show streams, but for now, Plup, as he's done for most of the 2019 season of Melee, sits as a huge question mark. Ryan Ford has traveled to next to nothing outside of Canada this year, and his performances at the 3 big events he did make it out to weren't the prettiest thing in the world. His run to 33rd at the Big House 9 was ended by 2 rising Spaceys mains, Magi and Billy Bo Peep, and his 25th place defense of his home turf at Gommel ended with a close loss to Swedish Delight in winners and a final blow coming surprisingly from Curb's Game & Watch. And his 13th finish at DreamHack Atlanta did see him winning the run back against Billy, but added another 2 less than desirable losses to Odie's Peach and Calvar's Marth. But I shouldn't have to tell you that Ryan Ford is still a talented Melee player despite all of this, and still has it in him to at least partially salvage his resume from this year at Mango's. However, I think the biggest benefactor of a good run here by Ryan wouldn't be the Fox himself, but instead the players he's beaten this year to help make their wins over him look more enticing. So if you're a Billy Bo Peep, Curb, or Magi fan, you should be rooting for Ryan to turn it around this weekend. And that does it for the main players to keep your eyes on this weekend, but I want to go rapid fire through a few more confirmed players to let you know they're here. Although Rishi's performance in Melee this year has been greatly overshadowed by his creation of Melee's most exciting new game mode and his slight shift of focus over to Ultimate, we could very easily see the top 50 player jam some more wins into his 2019 resume. Hax's focus has also wandered from playing the game itself as of late to help run his new local series in New York, which has seen a lot of positive feedback. But if he doesn't end up DQing at this event, it'd be nice to get another data point from him this year to follow up his 3rd place finish at the Mama Memorial. Moki has shined on his home turf so far this year with top 8 finishes at Gommel and EGLX, as well as a 3rd place finish at DreamHack Montreal, so expect to see another strong performance this weekend at the Birthday Bash. Lucky's win over Mango at main stage reminded us that you should never underestimate what Joey is capable of, even if he's not the most consistent player in the world. So although I don't expect him to take another set off Mango during this birthday celebration, I expect him to perform well at the event given the right bracket. Although losses to players like Lad, Billy Bo Peep, and HT mar the year of Shroomed, the top 50 Sheik and Marthmain should be able to hold on to his relative spot for the year with the wins he's already taken so far, but a few extra ones added here on at the end wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. Swedish Delight, alongside players like Pew Pew and Duck, have pretty firmly held a spot near the top end of the top 20 for quite a while now, but it looks like their tenure is finally up, as players like Fiction and Captain Faceroll will be sliding into those spots without an incredible event for Swedish here. Lastly, keep your eyes out for any of these talented Fox mains to pull off some upsets. Soonsay from Ontario, Noel from SoCal, IBDW who recently moved to the West Coast, and Mike Hayes who has quietly had a really good 2019. And that about does it for this video. Remember to click the links down in the description to follow me over on Twitch and Twitter to make sure you don't miss out on any extra coverage of Mango's birthday bash this weekend. Let me know down in the comments who you're most excited to watch during this last weekend of Melee, as well as who you think is the most likely to go on a crazy run through bracket. And that about does it for me. I've been SaveAsUntitled, and I will see you guys next time.